What's going on, y'all? It's Nick with Bear Family Farms. Today I wanted to do a quick little video on where our goats come from. The main reason behind this video is because we have an interview coming up with where our goats actually come from and the breeder of the genetics. And I'm not going to get too far into detail about the genetics. I want him to speak on that. So I have a couple of questions that he's going to answer, and we'll share that video with you guys so y'all have a deeper understanding on how passionate and how much pride and joy we take in raising these animals. They are a couple by the name of David and Diane Hefner out of the Moongate Ranch in Robert Lee, Texas. They were actually old partners with the late Robert Kensing back in the early or late 80s, early 90s. And Hefner has kept the genetic line closed since then. He has line bred all the animals that all the goats that he has, and we now carry about 80 to 90% of our genetics are from his herd. So like I said, it's a closed herd. He primarily does prefer a specific color in the genetics that he carries, which is that red bay color with a black line down their back. As you saw in the thumbnail of the video, those are some of his goats, but within that genetic there are some all black Spanish Kensing genetics, as well as some paint genetics and some of the very light buckskin or cream or blonde, or however color you want to put them. It's exact same as the red ones that he likes. They're just a blonde color. Kensing made David and Diane, or Hefner, I'll refer to them in different types of ways. Mainly I'll say the Hefner or Hefners promise to never cross his genetics with any other breed or bloodline. And for the last, almost 30 years, he has done so. He has not ever brought in any outside genetics, and he has line bred for that long. I'll let him get into a point or how he does it, and the system that he runs to ensure that things are not crossbred, or very closely bred, I should say, as in dam to kid, or sire to kid, vice versa. But the structural or physical appearance of these goats definitely stands out compared to any other goats that you see nowadays, as far as a quote-unquote Spanish goat. Things we're looking at that I see that is cookie cutter with his genetic is there's an outward growth of the horn. There's a primarily straightforward ear, not straight up, not droopy down the ears, and the facial structure of the head has no curve in it. I'm going to leave it at that for the most part, kind of a background. That way I don't just throw this interview on you guys. We have touched on it on a couple of our previous videos on kind of where our goats come from, but I wanted to just put it out there that our goats come from David and Diane Hefner of Moongate Ranch. Our genetics are, like I said, 80 to 90% of what we carry is directly from their ranch. And since we've started this, we've used at least 2 of their herd sires over a majority of the herd that we carry, just to ensure we continue that line bred genetic of the original herd. The other 10% does come from the Rocking X Ranch. We did that just to keep some diversity in the genetic, to ensure that we can continue on and not face any problems with inbred animals, because over time the goats can get smaller and you could have birth defects or deformities or stuff like that. Over the past 4 years of me knowing the Hefners and going out to their ranch, we have not seen any of that, but not to say that it could happen sometime in the future. So to prevent that is why we brought in that genetic from the Rocky Necks Ranch to ensure some genetic diversity. With the diversity that we do have at the moment, we do believe we have enough genetics and enough numbers to go ahead and close our herd to prevent any sickness or any kind of disease coming into the herd. With the popularity of these goats, there's been a lot of disease or sickness going around throughout what we're seeing, which is ultimately whole meaning behind why people close their herds, and specifically why David and Diane Hefner have not brought any outside genetics in to prevent that specific thing, which is why we as producers provide clean tested Spanish goats. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me spiel for a little bit. Didn't want to keep it much longer than what I'm running now. Like I said, I'm going to leave all the talking to David Hefner and Diane Hefner in a couple of days. So I hope you guys tune in for that interview. It's going to be a lot of good knowledge and a lot of good mentorship, a lot of information. If you guys are, very curious, or you guys wonder, if you guys might want to purchase animals from us, these goats are bred, born, and raised in electric fence. They're now used to getting rotated. Before, David is a very hands-off type of breeder. So when we got these goats, they were a lot on the wild side, I will say that. And because of that, it's taken us, 2-3 years to kind of gentle them down, get them to where they can rotate stress-free, pasture to pasture, and get them broke to electric fence.